Good morning and welcome back to Forgotten Dailies. As you can tell, we're in the truck. You can tell it's dark. It's currently 6:02 a.m. on a Saturday, my day off. But we're on our way to get another one. This one is going to be, we're staying within the state, thankfully. The gentleman did say it's easy to cross over to the next state, but it's the very first exit and then you turn and come right back in. So we're traveling out of state, I guess, for under a mile. But the car itself is actually located in Ohio. It's currently 28 degrees. It snowed last night. Nothing major, just a real light dusting, but it's wet. The truck's still thawing out. It's about a 3-hour drive, one direction. By myself. My co-pilot's unable to come today. My wife isn't feeling well, so she's staying home. So the plan is to get there between 9 and 9:30. Closer to 9 the better. And then basically load the car up. Comes with some extra parts, whatnot. Get all that loaded up, and then turn back around and come right back to the house. So I'll do an update here in a little while. I won't video where the car is. So I'll do some video of the car once it's home, or once it's at least on the trailer and we're en route back home. With that said, let's get heading south and let's go get this car. Alright, so we've been on the road just over an hour now. It's just now 7:04. We're heading into Columbus, Ohio. We're gonna go through Columbus and then continue on from there, but I figured I'd do a nighttime drive through Columbus for y'all. So when I'm driving, I do a lot of thinking. My mind doesn't ever stop. It's never bad things. It's just, what do I do? You know, stuff like that. I'm sure everybody goes through the same thing. So a little backstory on me real quick is in 1991, and I'm aging myself, but that's alright. I'm not upset about how old I am. 1991, my first car was a 1987 Dodge Shelby Charger. I was fortunate enough to have, parents that they bought it for me. I'm not gonna lie, and I appreciate that. And my parents today are still an amazing couple. They are my guiding light, and they're awesome. Anyway, that started my passion with these little cars. Pretty much have had at least one continuously, throughout from that time to today. I've always had probably at least one, sometimes more. I've always dabbled in these cars, fixing them, selling them, parting them, whatever. So the history with me is there. Also, in about that time frame, I started working for AutoZone. I was 16 years old. The store manager kept telling me, I kept going in and begging him. He kept saying that, I don't hire anybody under the age of 18, So finally one day I go in there and he was like, look, you're going to stop coming in, but I'll hire you if you can answer this question. And the question he asked me was, somebody needs a water pump, what else would you recommend replacing or selling them? Needless to say, I worked for AutoZone for 2.5 years, all the way through high school and a little bit beyond. Out of all the jobs that I've ever had in my life, that is one that I truly did enjoy. I enjoyed the parts business of it. I enjoyed the challenge that sometimes came along with it. So if somebody comes in and they wanted a oil filter, oil change, whatever, okay, that's easy. Punch it in, go on about your day. But when somebody came in and they had, like, I don't know, something custom, whatever, and you had to dig to find the part they needed, or to help them figure out, what they might need, that was what I loved the most. I enjoy the challenge. So about a year and a half ago, maybe a little bit longer, my wife kind of encouraged me to pursue this business, and she is my biggest supporter. And I do love the hunt. I love that I'm able to still find these cars. If you read the Facebook groups or whatever, various chats and whatnot, none of these cars should be on the road or in existence today because they were junk. They were blowed up within a year. They had bad head gaskets within a year of being brand new cars, and they got a very poor reputation. Me personally, I've never really had a bad one. I had one that gave me some fits years and years ago. But out of the hundreds I've owned, I've never had a bad one that I've driven. Now, we've had bad ones that were just junk just because they rotted away or whatnot. But it amazes me that today in 2024, I can still find these cars. Now, we have to travel sometimes for them, but that's okay. But some people get excited about football season or basketball season. Some people invest their time and their money into off-road vehicles or race car or hunting, and that's all fine and dandy. You have to find something that you truly enjoy, and this is what I enjoy. This is what I love to do. I love to go to find these cars. I love to go get them, and honestly, my favorite part is putting them in the garage and taking them apart. I like the challenge. I like, thinking outside the box. And I'm thankful that I have the ability to do this. I have learned so much in the year and a half that we've been in business. Now, I've been doing this a lot longer, like I said, but I've really dove into it head first in the last year and a half, 2 years. And I have learned so much about business and so much about, these cars. And I'm always trying to learn. I'm not afraid to dig deeper into things. We're learning more about what to remove from cars. If you go back to 2 or 3 years ago, we didn't pull as much off of a car as we do today, and that was because we just didn't know. So when a car leaves here today, it's pretty much a shell, and I would pull more if I had the space. Unfortunately, I don't have a great big giant warehouse to store everything. So sometimes, you have to do what you have to do. We've wanted to get into the reproduction of some parts. I haven't been able to start that yet, just because we're still trying to build the business. What are some things that you would like to see reproduced for these cars? And it could be anything. I just like to get a feel of things that people would like to have that are new. I know floor pans would probably be high on the list, but unfortunately that's probably never going to happen. That's an expensive thing for a company to start. I don't know the processes and all the stuff they need for that, but I know that the press is probably one of them, and that's probably not cheap to come up with. So this is downtown Columbus. I'm going to sidetrack here a minute. Downtown Columbus. With this route, you don't really get to see a whole lot of the city, but we do get to see some of it as we're driving through. I'm trying to maintain traffic too here, so bear with me. This is kind of a sketchy as far as like you really got to pay attention to where you're driving as you're coming through here, because if not, you'll end up missing your exit, and then you gotta, you know, take a different route. This road here kind of joins along with another interstate that runs east and west, and then it splits and it's one lane, and if you're in like right here, if you're in the right lane, you're going to go a different route, so you're going to be over here on the left to go towards Cincinnati 71 south. And then once you're through this section, it opens back up and you're smooth sailing all the way to Cincinnati. But it's just getting through downtown Columbus can be a little tricky, especially if you don't know, you know, what you're doing, where you're supposed to be, what lane you're supposed to be in. And then you see now we open back up to 3 or 4 lanes, and the Ohio State decoration is starting to pop back up. That would be the orange barrels. Seems like everywhere you go in Ohio in the spring, summer, fall, there are orange barrels everywhere. So real quick, I'm going to finish this up because I don't want to bore you forever. Back to the reproduction parts. Let me know what you'd like to see. What you think would be beneficial to these cars to have reproduced. I have things in my mind that I'd like to see done. I'd just like to see what everybody else's thoughts are. So one more thing about the business that I truly enjoy is, first of all, meeting new people. I've met so many new people through this, and most of them, you know, are not local to me. So, you know, it's via text messages or Facebook Messenger or whatnot. But I've still found, you know, many people that are into these cars. And it's cool. I truly think that's awesome. And with every part that we sell, especially to a new customer, because we have several repeat customers that, you know, have bought more than one item from us. But when we have a new customer, that's awesome to me, because that means that that's another person that is into these cars and likes these cars. I'm going to give a shout out to the Shelby Dodge Automobile Club. If you don't know what that is a club that is dedicated to the Shelby produced and Shelby influenced cars made by Chrysler, Dodge, mostly. They're a national club. Then every year they do a national meet, and that will move from location to location depending on the year. Then they have local chapters that are within that as well. Those are smaller chapters that are throughout the country, like different states, different parts of the states will have their own chapter, but they all fall under the same umbrella. It's ran by a group of individuals that are amazing. They're very knowledgeable, and they truly, you know, have a passion for these cars. So go over to they have a Facebook page, and then they have a website, Shelby Dodge Automobile Club. If you've never heard of them, look into the club, become a member, support them, support what they do. So we're through Columbus, now we're on our way to Cincinnati. I believe we have just under 2 hours to go, like an hour and 40 minutes, 45 minutes maybe. So with that, we'll keep heading that direction, and we'll catch up with you in a little bit. So after driving for 3+ hours one way yesterday, and then probably an hour or so to get it on the trailer, we brought home this 1991 Dodge Shadow ES convertible. Convertible was only offered from 91 to 93. This would have been a first-year car for the convertible. This car would have been a very sharp car when it was new, red over the silver. It would have had these wheels all the way around it. Of course, you know, it had a probably a gray top, possibly a black top. But then it also had the ES only interior. It's dirty, but the stripes makes it an ES only. Now the Sundance RS, or Duster as they were later called, may have came with that as well, but I know for Shadow the ES is the only one that got this interior. The ES package consisted of the ground effects, these wheels, as the aforementioned interior, fog lights, factory fog lights, and then of course factory tack, etc. Heavier suspension, probably a quicker ratio steering. I'll look all that up and post a link, maybe, if I can find one that more details the ES options. I probably wouldn't have went and got this car had it not been what it is. If it had been a base convertible, I most definitely wouldn't have went. But this one's kind of unique. It is rusty. There's a hole. You can see a hole back in here. I can't get the driver's door open all the way because this tire's flat. But we'll get to that here in a minute. What makes this car pretty unique is what's under the hood. This one's a 2.5 turbo, but it's also a 5-speed. So, I don't know numbers, production numbers on this car, nor will I ever know, most likely. My assumption is this car is probably a pretty rare car. I see a lot of these cars still advertised. Most of them are automatics. Most of them are non-ES. The ES cars with the turbo, again, most of them are automatics. But this one's a 5-speed. You can see the shifter. So back to when this car was new, this car would have been sharp and would have been fun. Unfortunately, as with most of the cars that we get in here, it has been forgotten about and left to rot. This car is not savable, not because of rot, not because of engine, not because of desirability. It's not savable because of a title issue. We have a title, but there's an issue with it. I'm not going to go into details, but unfortunately for this car, the way you see it, its days are numbered. Rot probably would kill it too, honestly. Let's see here on the passenger side, the rocker panel's even rotted, and we haven't even looked underneath it yet. Supposedly the car runs, but has a rod knock. As these cars get harder and harder to find, we will pull the engine. The transmission is going to be put aside for my wife's car, her Shadow, so it's not going to go to waste. But things like the shifter, the cables, the linkage, the pedals, the boost gauge, etc., that kind of stuff will be used in the eBay store. Or it'll be going to Carlisle with us. Haven't decided on that yet. But anyways, 1991 Shadow ES convertible. Would have been a nice looking car when it was new. Unfortunately, in this state, its days, like I said, are numbered. We'll keep the fog lights. I'll probably keep the entire front bumper, the cover. The grille itself is busted. You can see where it's broke below the headlight and then here and up there. So it won't come off. This fender's no good. It's creased back in here. It's just a standard Shadow fender, so it's not like it's anything special. Doors, I gotta look and see, because I'm not 100% sure. This is another one of those cars I've never had in before. But I gotta look and see if they are convertible specific. I know the glass is, so the glass is definitely coming out. But like the mirrors, I know like this trim above the top of the doors, I don't know about the actual door. Because a regular Shadow would have a frame around it, around the glass. So my assumption is they took a regular door and they cut the framework off of it to create the convertible. But any of the convertible specific stuff is going to come off. You can even see here on the top, this part here is even rotted away. So we're going to keep the wheels. Those are 15-inch pumpers. Something that's unique about the pumper wheel is the 15-inch wheels are non-directional, meaning they can go left, right, doesn't matter. But the 16s are directional, meaning you have 2 for the left, 2 for the right. You can put them on the other side, but they won't look right. And anybody that knows these cars will know right away, if they're on the right way. I found that interesting, but they look so identical. The center caps are actually the same. You can put a Dodge center cap on a 15-inch Dodge center cap, so the 15s would have had Dodge, 16s would have had the CS logo. Center caps are the same. Like, you can swap them from one to one. But anyway, the ES was offered 91 to 93, or the convertible, sorry, was offered 91 to 93. The ES option came out in 1987 when the Shadow was released. The Shadow was destined, in the Sundance as well, was supposed to replace the Horizon and Omni from everything I've read. But I believe what I read was that the sales of the Omni and Horizon were still very good, so they introduced these into becoming an intermediate car. So they would have been placed between the Omni and the Lancer. And then later the Lancer was replaced by the Spirit. As these aged, in 95 the Neon was released, replacing the Shadow. And then of course by 1991 the Omni and Horizon were done as well. We moved on to newer times. So with that said, this car is going to be sitting on the trailer for a few more days because I've got some things going on today and tomorrow. Oh, the rear wheels were completely locked up, so that's why another reason why it took us a long time to load it, because we had to fight with it. So I have a buddy coming over. I bought the LeBaron coupe. He's going to be coming over here in a little bit. I think he's going to get it out of here today. That'll be nice, free up another car. And yeah, it's a shame on this car. It did come with the other 2 wheels I have, so I have all 4. It came with another set of seats, but there's 90 seats, which is cool because I need those for my wife's car. Her car doesn't need seats. They're really nice shape, but the vinyl, show you, maybe. This door does not like to open either. The vinyl that's here, well, it's here actually, is cracked. So in order to make it really nice, I need to find at least a bottom section. So we have those. I didn't really look at them that close. They're dirty, but I got a friend that can clean them. So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. For now, they're just going to be put up until we're ready once the weather gets better. It's still cold here. It didn't snow, but the ground is still semi-frozen, semi-soft. All right, so 91 Shadow ES convertible. That'll be the next one on the chopping block. So if you need parts for a convertible, hit us up. I've Forgotten Dailies LLC at gmail.com. I'll put a link in the description. You can find us on eBay under Forgotten Dailies LLC, or you can find us here on YouTube, and you can comment or message me here. We're going to finish this up. We're going to get busy. We got things to do. I appreciate you watching, and I hope you have a great day. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you want to see. If there's anything specific that you want to see a how-to off of this car, let me know, and I'll work on getting that done for you. I hope you have a great day. Thanks again.